And welcome back to Talking About. I'm JC Alvarez.
I'm Cara Kilduff, still.
Yes, still is the key word. Listen, we can't really, I mean, as much fun as our next guest is, there's a lot of things happening in the economy that really have almost like taken the air out of how we feel about ourselves and what we're worth. And that's something that Jessica Kizorek is something that she addresses as the badass businesswoman.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I feel welcomed, Car.
Oh, please. Oh, only by her? What the hell?
Yeah, not you need to be more welcoming, and then we can talk.
We have the same haircut.
Yes, I actually patterned mine after yours.
Oh, I thought you patterned yours after mine.
I did.
And the little crest in the front,
yes,
you know,
yes,
exactly. Right?
Absolutely.
Did you see that? That was defensive. He's like, please
No.
stop, Leslie.
No, I'm not scared of Jessica because I actually at all.
Most people are.
Well, I mean, you have a very personal approach to really helping people, especially women in business today, not only address a very important issue of self-worth, but also really magnify the fact that you can succeed in business and be a profitable, contributing individual.
Yeah, well, for years now, the news and everything that we pull in is negative, and it's bad, and it's horrible, and it's jobs. People are losing their jobs, and they're shutting down their businesses. And so for years, we've been going through this cultural conversation, and there needs to be something to balance that out that fills women, particularly is my passion, you know, with energy and with the desire to be successful at making money. I think that's really important.
Absolutely, and to that note, because there are, I forgot what the percentage was, but there are fewer than, I was reading, and I don't know if this is true, and you probably have the better figure. I was reading that there are less than 30% female executives in the workforce that are earning more than their male counterparts. So in other words, for every, I think I had read somewhere that for every 3 women who are executives in a business, their counterparts, their male counterparts, 7 of those men are earning more doing the same jobs that they do. And I was really shocked by that number.
You know, one of the reasons that women make less than men is because they don't negotiate their first entry-level job salary when they come out.
Okay.
I didn't.
I don't. Even I have a hard time negotiating contracts, but men, evidently because it's more, you know, men are encouraged and almost bred socially to be competitive, to be willing to go head to head. It's that men fighting thing, and women are we're more gentle and delicate and even more passive aggressive about the way we try and get what we want. You have no idea what I'm talking about.
Well, what I think is also interesting is that my business role models have been a lot of really intelligent, forceful women.
Yes.
Not that men haven't sort of like laid out the groundwork of how I approach myself in a business perspective, but I've been fortunate enough to see both successful men and women in business. And it's true what you say, that women kind of like, they have to almost like break that mold and be something that goes against what the social grain is, because society's telling them, like, you know, well, you can't be successful otherwise unless you go in this direction.
That's so crazy.
Maybe in an ideal world, we could all be more like Car, which is self-expressed and boisterous, and
soda.
and drinking soda, and being willing to be expressed without being impacted by the way, you know, because people probably give you weird looks sometimes. Ever gotten a weird look from someone?
All the time.
All the time. And as women, but also, you know, men in the workplace, we get deflated easily. So it's a lot about just having positive influences, be it media, be it the emails that I'm sending into the inbox. It's those kind of things that really tip people over to have them want to achieve.
What I love is that you teach women to be badass businesswomen.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, your website is badassbusinesswomen.org. So that's something that everyone can check out, because you almost like have it all broken down and teach this really empowering method for having people, women, especially a lot of your focus is on women, but having them realize that women don't have to be guilty to make money. They don't have to be, you know, what's that all about? Because there really is that whole thing of like, I can't, you know.
What's that about? You're the one doing the solo show,
Yeah.
How I Became an Unskilled Laborer.
It's an interesting title, How I Became an let's analyze that.
And where's the badass Car too? You're letting him totally dominate this whole interview. What is that about?
Yeah, well, for my show, it's how I became an unskilled laborer because, well, I just had a head rush because I didn't let oxygen go to my brain. But, no, because for everything that I've done for work, it's quote unquote unskilled labor. And the funny thing is I was brought up learning that every form of work is honorable, whether you pick up dog shit or, you know, this, that, or the other thing. All work is honorable. It doesn't matter what you do. And the funny thing is, because of who I am, and I like to stand up straight most of the time, no, I find like people trying to treat me in a certain way when I walk into a building, like, you know, try to look down at me. There's this one guy in particular, he always was like, kind of had a weird attitude with me, and I would always look him directly in the eye. Like, I would always look him
That's
in the eye.
badass. That's badass.
So that's something that you would teach.
Yeah, make eye contact with people. Why shy away? I mean, you're so handsome. No, but so now this guy totally chats with me now because he figured I'm not less. I don't think of myself as less than, and I think that's part of the problem. People think that, or women especially, feel like they're not worthy to ask for this, that, or, you know, whatever. Especially when it comes to money.
Especially when it comes to money, and we second guess. I'm even in the middle. I teach this stuff, and I have to train myself constantly. I'm in the middle of. I'm up here in New York, wanting to close a deal, and I'm like, oh, I should say this. I should say this. Oh, she's not. And I'm all like in a flurry about the whole thing, asking for this contract.
But you know what? I feel like with a lot of stuff, if you just step back and just take a deep breath and just ask for what you want.
Yes.
That's it. Ask for what you want.
That is one of the key pillars of being a badass. It's one of the first things I teach is asking for what you want. I just recently had one of my readers sent me, and I'm surprised with all the thousands of people that I go out to, that there's not all that much there's not always inbound stuff. So when there is inbound emails that come directly to me, I always pay like really close attention to them. And so somebody said, listen, Jessica, I've been reading all your emails. I'm on your webinars. I'm downloading your free reports. I want to work for you, and I want to join your team, and I have a son named Khalil, and he's less than a year, and I want to balance this all, and I want to have it all. Do you have any space for me? And I was like, you know what?
You gotta find space.
She asked for what she wanted, and her son's name is also the name of my favorite poet, Khalil Gibran.
Oh,
so
wow.
I figured that the universe was
There was a
saying so.
connectivity
There was something going on. So now she's awesome, and she's one of the people that I'm watching carve her own way and say, listen, I'm not going to put my kid in daycare. I am not going to have my husband, you know, have to work 2 jobs. I am going to find a job. I'm going to work at the job that I want, and I'm on the phone with her, and she's making calls for me, and she's like, I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Well, what you're also offering pretty much is very much a strategy that is successful all across the board. There were a couple of principles that you were telling me that are really important that to help you sort of like raise your price.
Yeah, because that's part of the deal is there are people out there that are unskilled laborers, and that's just how the world works. There are people, however, that want to become more valuable in the marketplace.
Right.
So,
especially in this economic situation.
Especially in this economic situation where you've got there's very little job security. You don't know if you're going to be at the same job. You don't know if you're going to fire. You don't know if you're going to move. They have five different careers.
So much fear.
There's so much fear, and so we need to, as people that want to raise their prices, have to strategically learn how to become more marketable. And I have a special report that if you go to raisemyprices.com, you can download. It's a 23-page brand new research. It's 3 steps to raising your prices and increasing the value that people hold you in, the esteem that people hold you in.
You know, the show is live today, so if you have any comments for our guests, which you should take advantage of, the number is 718-460-9802. 02 or 02?
Who cares? So what? Who cares?
So what? Who cares? Now, you said that there's 3 steps to finding and identifying and raising your prices.
Yes.
Okay. What are those 3 steps? Because I literally am just like, you know, $100.
Yeah.
I'm happy with $100. But it's like
the first step, when you look very tactically, the person that helped me write the report, she's an MBA, so she's like got a whole, I'm the inspirational one. She's the like, okay, seriously, what do you have to do? So the first step is you have to specialize in a niche.
Okay.
Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
Car, I'm quizzing you. What does that mean?
That means I gotta do something really special that not everybody else does.
Yes.
Talented comedian and performer and writer.
And there's a lot of them out there. So for you, if you were one of my students, I would walk you through what is the exact niche, who's the exact target audience, what exact kinds of performances, what are you going to be famous for?
Oh, well, I was thinking in terms of my day job.
Yeah.
You can't be any better at dog walking.
Well,
So-
you can.
so
So,
I
you could. Like, if you're a dog walker, you could then specialize in. What if you specialize in giant dogs over 100 pounds? That not that you want. She's like, I don't even want to deal with those kind of dogs.
No,
But
they
you
are
gotta
slow.
pick.
They're
You
just
gotta
like,
pick. You gotta
okay.
pick your. I know, right?
But you know, it's actually, I would say, or I would identify
No,
that
it is
you're-
true finding out who your
Or
audience
she
is and all
specializes.
that.
I specialize in poodles, and I am Manhattan's #1 poodle walker.
Well, she's
Like-
she's the most personable dog walker in Manhattan. That's
There you go.
that's-
So that would be
yeah.
part of the way you start describing yourself
Right.
and different. That's another key piece of the thing is differentiating yourself from all
the
the other competition out there that are competing with you on a commodity level. Because if you're an unskilled worker and you're getting paid $15 an hour or whatever, there's millions of other ones out there. So it becomes of how do you differentiate yourself, be known, become visible, become someone that people are listening to, someone that tuning into.
You know, a lot of it, though, I think it's an inside job. Like, you can't start this stuff. You have to have that. I don't know. It's just an inside job. You have to, like, know how to.
No,
Is
it's
that an
not. No,
excuse?
it's not.
Like,
It's
that's a great example
that's,
of.
that's
No,
so
not an
something
excuse,
like-
but, like, it's an. But
no.
when
I
I
think
say inside job, I mean, like, you have to have that kernel of self-worth to be able to build.
Oh,
You know what I
Sure,
mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
well, then I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
And I do think that is my target audience. When I look at badass businesswomen, it's women that already have a voice. I'm not here on the planet to tell you what your voice is or what you have to say. That's like that's your deal. But once you have a voice and you have something to say and you want to amplify it, you want to make it louder, you have a message that people need to hear, or a product that people need to buy, or a service that would do people so much good. You have to learn how to amplify your voice.
It's a wonderful thing that you're doing, especially addressing the need of businesswomen who I think, especially in an economy like this, they think that they have to provide in very different ways for their families. You know, they have to not only sometimes be breadwinners at home, but they got to keep the family unit at home kind of intact, and that can really bring down a woman's self-esteem. And I've actually seen a couple of your seminars online, and you know, you use a lot of very skillful, very empowering, very just energetic tactics to like really kind of like say, yeah, you can do all that, but you can also have this. You can have your pie and eat it too.
Yeah, well, as
Why not?
I'm looking at now having children. I'm in a great relationship. I want to get married to my partner, and I want to have children. And so now it opens up a whole new, like, oh wow, I'm planning. How do you be a mother and the badass business? And like, how does that work? And how do you really have that all? That's interesting. So the conversation is going to start going in that way for me.
Right. You're going to be appearing soon in Florida at the Women's Success Summit.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
One of my best friends in the whole wide world. Her name's Michelle Villalobos. And she and I have something in common, which is we love when women succeed. We love the expression on their face when they succeed. And the passion in watching people implement what we have to teach. And so we're, this is the Women's Success Summit #5. So she's done, or #6, she's done a lot of them. This subject matter is called The Big Close.
Okay.
So it's all about closing and sales and asking for the money and making financial transactions and asking for it's great. It's great, and it's a lot of the skill sets that both women and men. We have men, very brave men that come
absolutely,
down.
yeah.
It's about 10% of our audience.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I know, right?
I really think that sometimes you have to hear certain messages, certain gender messages, if you would, to kind of like really look at yourself and go, wait a minute, this applies to me too.
It's just because I appeal to the woman in you.
Yes, yes. She's right now wearing a very nice little pin dress. Okay, so the website again is badassbusinesswomen.org,
And that's where you plug in over email, because all
Right.
my communications go out over email. So it's the best way to be getting the online seminars and the videos, the stuff that you had access to.
Absolutely, and that's also where people can learn more about raisemyprices.com.
Yeah,
which
or you
is-
could go straight, if that's what you're into, raise my prices, and you just want straight tactical information. It's like a 20-page thing that we give away for free. It's so good.
It's these are all especially.
How is it?
Am I dominant? Am I dominant?
No, I think what I like about your approaches is that it really is someone has to be more energetic sometimes than you are, so you can actually really start like catching up. That's always been my philosophy. If someone else is like really energetic up, you're gonna start catching up to that person.
It is. It's contagious.
Yeah, it's
people get
absolutely
around me
contagious,
and
yeah.
it's like,
Why do you think I had to drink that soda?
And
That's why.
and definitely on your website, there's also a sort of like a document that folks can download that I read that.
oh yeah, it's if you go to badassbusinesswomen.org, there's a free ebook there
Yeah.
too. It's all about stories from other women. It's tips. It's how this organization got
Yeah,
formed
yeah.
and why it got formed and what we're here to do. So you can get all that on the site.
And again,
cool.
just so that everyone who's watching, these are all practices that work across the board. They're not just specifically. I mean, Jessica is speaking to a specific audience, but these are all skills that I think are important in today's economic situation, just to keep yourself ahead of the game. And also, like you said, to
And
really
think outside the box. No pun intended, seriously. But
I don't
really.
think outside the box.
But most of all, this really helps you identify
At
your
all.
own self-worth, which is, I think, that's the biggest lesson here.
Totally.
Yeah, and you can raise your money,
And
That's
raise your
right.
prices.
raise your prices.
And think outside the box or inside the box.
Just think differently.
Just be a badass.
Yeah.
Badass. Badassbusinesswomen.org. Jessica Kizorek.
Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome back anytime because I know that you are in the area often.
Yes.